Thanks for joining me for this edition of the Church Security Answer Man. This is a sad situation, but some very valuable lessons that we can learn here. All of us in church security, from leadership to those work in the front line. And basically, this last Saturday, a pastor is stabbed to death by a resident of the church. He's kicking out. As we look at the details, this Saturday about 5:30. Some of the church members or some people find Pastor Lenoir deceased at the church. Outside the church, apparently, he's been stabbed to death. They call the police, and the investigation starts in this process. And apparently, he had a dispute with somebody that was allowed to live at the church, is what I'm hearing from my sources. James Dawkins, and he lived at the church. And apparently the pastor and him had some sort of dispute. And the pastor, it's even rumored that he was found to be in body armor and stuff when he was found deceased, stabbed in the neck. And so apparently because of this dispute, he called a locksmith. And the locksmith came to the church on Saturday and was going to change the locks. And somewhere in there, he ended up having a verbal dispute, maybe even in front of the locksmith. I'm hearing those details. They have a verbal dispute, and because he's basically kicking Dawkins out of the church. And so this is on Saturday afternoon. And then Dawkins, during this dispute, at some point, maybe even after the locksmith leaves, stabs the pastor several times, including at least in the neck, which we know you can hit a major artery there, and it's a very sad situation. Dawkins fled the scene, and he was arrested on Sunday. Now, this is a church, Westview Baptist Church in Opa-Locka, which is a suburb of, or part of, Miami-Dade area in Florida. So reality is, what can we learn from this? And I'm giving you a quick lesson here, just Monday morning quarterbacking it, but I think it's important for us to discuss this because we talk so much about taking somebody with you when we're doing things around the church. If something comes up during a Saturday or Sunday morning service, grab somebody else if you got to go outside and confront somebody. And here, we're actually having a dispute with somebody. No disrespect intended to the pastor, but I'm sure that he would want us to learn lessons from this. And there's a valuable lesson here, and that is, don't go by yourself, especially if you're thinking about there's going to be some kind of conflict, or you're kicking somebody out or asking somebody to leave. This is important if we're dealing with transients, if we're dealing with somebody who's difficult. It's valuable anytime we're around the church and we're having some sort of conflict or may have a conflict. We need more people with us. We can't do this by ourselves. 2 people, very important, maybe 3 or 4, or call the police ahead of time if we're having a dispute with somebody, especially if we're going to kick them out. I don't know the exact circumstances, but from what I hear, this would have been a very important time for us to take a second person with us. A sad situation that a pastor, a father of several children, loses his life over some sort of dispute with somebody who's been allowed to live at the church, apparently. So thanks for joining me. I hope you'll subscribe to this. We want to certainly expand our broadcast to others and to you. We want to connect with you. So you also maybe hit the like button and help us expand this process.